Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar. Sorry we're getting started a few minutes late. I generally like to get started right on time, but we're having some technical difficulties. I was going to have my friend Corey Bendixson from Infusionsoft join me on this webinar and have him show off some of the things that we do, but for some reason he was not able to get on. So there's a handful of you on here, and I think we'll just cover a few things and then let you go. But look, welcome, and if you have any comments, you can use the sidebar there. There's a little public chat area, so you can drop your comments or your questions in there. And the group's not huge today. I think we've got actually just barely under 10 people. So next time it's only like this, we should probably just do a normal Google Hangout where everyone can talk. But since we're already here, we may as well just do it this way. So, so what I'm gonna do is just kind of give a little bit of background of the last few years, what I've been up to, and then show kind of some of the concepts that we work on and some of the strategies that we have developed to help small businesses grow. And then lastly, we'll just wrap up with kind of a little demo of Infusionsoft, which is the main software product that we use to help our clients. So first off, let me start a little screen share here. I think that'll work. I'm seeing like a vortex of death now. So you should be seeing now a screen that says creating your perfect customer lifecycle. So about was it 12 years ago or so, I went to work for a pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, doing pharmaceutical sales. And although that was a great job initially, and I really enjoyed it, it turned out ending up kind of weird because the government got more and more involved in regulating that whole sales process. And as a salesperson, you were really kind of handcuffed to you just couldn't do what you wanted to do as a sales rep. So it got quite frustrating. But what happened during the 5.5 years that I was there was, Pfizer has tens of thousands of sales reps. They've developed a sales machine, to go out and sell their products. And one of the ways that they've developed that machine is by creating really, world-class sales training. And so every few months, they fly you to New York, where the headquarters are, their big training center, and you spend a few days. Actually, initially, you spend kind of weeks on end there at this training center. And that's where I'd say I really cut my teeth in learning the psychology of sales and marketing. When you do pharmaceutical sales, it's not really sales in the sense that you go in and you collect money and there's an exchange of goods or services for the money. You're really in there trying to influence the doctors and their prescribing habits. And so really what I say is it's not pharmaceutical sales, it's pharmaceutical marketing. And so through this training and years of practice, really learned there kind of the psychology of marketing, but never really put it in practice in terms of what we would consider regular marketing. Well, jump forward a few years, I ended up leaving the pharmaceutical field because of the government regulation and the changes that were happening in the industry, and ended up starting a job at Infusionsoft, which is a software company in Arizona, as the internet marketing manager. So my job was to drive leads and sales and everything online, and figure out how to take the company's money and invest it in advertising and turn that into a profit. So initially I was given a total budget of $300 per month to go advertise. And through lots of testing and tweaking and studying and learning, we were able to take that $300 a month and over a few years turn it into a couple $100,000 a month is what we were spending when I left on purely on advertising. And the way we were able to do that is by tracking every ad that we put out there and tracking its the expense on that particular ad and the revenue associated with that particular ad. And of course, that was all done through Infusionsoft's own software system called Infusionsoft. And so that was part of the process of really developing this love and skill for helping small businesses grow. But the next part of it is really taking a holistic approach to small business. So small businesses tend to start off with little to no cash, and so they're bootstrapping, and you're finding free or low-cost tools to run your business. And so you might have, if you look at the graphic here, you might have a CRM system, which is customer relationship management, fancy term for a database. Instead of a database, you might just be using a spreadsheet to keep track of your customers and your leads. You might also have an email marketing system. If you're trying to follow up with people and trying to keep in contact with all your leads and customers. If you don't feel like you have an email marketing system, well, you do, and it's probably just Outlook or Gmail or whatever you're using for email. And of course, those tools are pretty basic and not very sophisticated in terms of being able to manage big lists of people and stay in contact with a lot of people at once. And then you might also have an e-commerce system, or at least some way to process your orders, and that might be happening through something like QuickBooks. Maybe you're just collecting checks. Maybe you're processing online. Either way, you've got some system to collect money. And so these are just three of the systems that you might be using in your business. You might also have something for project management, keeping track of all your tasks. You might have a calendaring system. You might have all kinds of different things, and typically none of them talk to each other. And you know in the world that we live in today that things could be so much more automated, but instead you're working in a world where everything just seems chaotic. The systems don't work well together. You're kind of running around crazy all the time. You're feeling overwhelmed and not quite sure that you can handle it in terms of running your own business. And really the question starts rising, well, can I, or should I, or do I even want to grow this business? Because growth just means more pain. It just means more chaos and more trying to figure out all this different stuff. And I can barely keep the wheels on the tracks right now by myself. And how do I add an employee or more employees? I don't have time to train them. I need the help, but I don't have the time or the revenue to bring them on. And so it just becomes this, almost like self-fulfilling prophecy, that the majority of small businesses fail in the first few years, and it's because of all of these different things and the chaos that ensues as the business gets off the ground and you start needing all of these systems and you start trying to actually grow. And so that's where Infusionsoft comes into play. Infusionsoft is an all-in-one system that has brought together CRM, email marketing, and e-commerce all in one solution. And before we talk about the software in detail, let's talk about kind of the effects of not having good systems in place. This is, again, kind of the typical small business problem. So here we have what we call the perfect customer life cycle. The perfect customer life cycle is basically just taking the processes of your business and laying them out into a logical format. So first thing you need to do is attract traffic or people, turn them into leads, and then nurture those leads until they actually become customers and pay you. And then, of course, you need to deliver on whatever you promised to give them, whether it's a product or a service, and you want to satisfy those customers and turn them into raving fans. And then you might want to upsell them additional things and then leverage those raving fans for additional referrals. Well, the problem that happens or that is created by not having good systems in place is you may go out and do some work to attract some traffic. It might be going to networking events or maybe even doing a little bit of advertising, things like that. You get some leads, but then you're so dang busy that you may not have time to follow up with those leads. So the typical example is you go to a networking event, and I've done this a million times. You go to an event, or you're with a group of people, you go to a networking event, something like that. You gather some business cards of potential clients or customers, and you go home with every intention of following up with those people. They were very interested, and you've got basically some sure sales in the bag. But you get home, and usually you get home late, and you're tired. You put that stack of business cards on your desk. You wake up the next day, and there are already fires to be put out, and you're busy, and you got stuff going on, and that stack of business cards sits there, and you say, I'll get to it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and you've got every intention of calling those people, following up with them, and sure enough, there's more fires, there's more stuff to do, you're busy, and sooner than later, a couple weeks have passed, 2, 3, 4 weeks have passed, and you finally have a minute to follow up with those leads, and now you feel kind of stupid. Because it's been so long. These people might not even remember who you are. They may have moved on, purchased something else, and so it's a missed opportunity. I call this actually in the small business world black hole number 1. And so it's a big black hole where your leads just get sucked into that black hole. They don't get followed up with well, and it's opportunity lost. And so the next thing is you actually do get some customers, and you're able to deliver for them, and you turn them into good customers. But then most small companies are not great at upselling those customers into additional products. If you've done a good job of selling them on your initial product or service, they're likely, very, very likely, to purchase again. They're actually far more likely to drive additional revenue in your business than any new people that you might bring into the funnel over here. And so most people, again, just because you're busy and scrambling, tend to drop the ball in terms of having a systematic way to upsell these customers and continue to deliver value to them and continue to deliver additional products and things that they may want. They're likely, very likely, to have money in their pocket, willing and ready to purchase again if you just had something to upsell them. Or if you're in a business where they need to make repeat purchases of the same thing, maybe it's a consumable product, they're ready and willing. They need your product or service, and if you're not there following up and making sure that you're top of mind, they are likely to take their business somewhere else. So that's black hole number 2, another area of massive lost opportunity. It just kind of gets sucked away into the black hole as you're managing your business. And then black hole number 3 is this idea of leveraging these people for referrals. Again, this is an area where most small businesses just don't tend to have the time or money or ability in some way or another to really get systematic about referrals. I actually hear very, very commonly from the typical small business owner, they say things like, oh, you know what, our business is completely referral driven. It's so great, our customers love us, so they refer us, and we don't even have to advertise. What that really means to me when I dig into it and translate that into real language, what that means is we don't have a clue how to grow our business. We're really, really scared to advertise because we don't really know marketing, and so why go spend money and have that money just get flushed down the toilet? And so we basically sit here and wait for referrals. And so that's a very, very typical way that small businesses handle referrals. But in reality, referrals can be very, very systematic if you put systems in place and make sure that you're really turning every customer into a raving fan, and then systematically pumping them for referrals. And you can do that in a way that's not like the Tupperware party. Hey, can I have a Tupperware party at your house type thing? And it feels cheesy and makes people uncomfortable. There are great ways to do it. And so that is black hole number 3. Another area of massive opportunity that just tends to get flushed down the toilet as small businesses try and grow. So those are the problems that most small businesses are dealing with on a regular basis. And try and switch this back here. So these problems are rampant in the small business world, and Infusionsoft has really put together a software solution to solve that problem. And so while I was at Infusionsoft running the marketing there, of course we were using Infusionsoft's own system. I was the Infusionsoft account, advertising to get leads in there, and then using Infusionsoft to follow up with those leads. So it's all about automation. It's all about figuring out ways to automate the plugging of those 3 black holes. So automating your lead follow-up, automating your customer follow-up and your fulfillment, making sure that that people are taken care of, and then automating that process of getting repeat sales or upsells and referrals. And so what I want to do now is just kind of log into Infusionsoft for a few minutes and just kind of show you what this is all about. So let me get an Infusionsoft account open here. Just go to sign in at Infusionsoft.com. All right, that should get us in here. So in Infusionsoft, at the core, it is a customer database. It's a CRM system, and all of your contacts or customers are available in here. And the great thing is they can be tagged for anything they do. Any behavior that they exhibit or anything about them. So they can be tagged just because they live in Arizona. They can be tagged because they clicked on a link, because they came from a particular event, and all that can happen automatically. And then you can slice and dice your list based on those tags. So let's just show you a quick contact search here. So I can come in and I've got my tags down here, and I can search and say, hey, I want to show, I want to find all the people who purchased the club. So there's one thing there, and then I can cross that with any other tag. Anyone who purchased the club who also took our survey and selected that the service was good. And so then I can hit search, and I don't even. This is a test account, so I don't even know if it's going to come up with any results on that. Oh, it looks like there's 245 there. So yeah, then I've got a very specific list of people there who have taken the survey and said they had good service, and they also purchased a particular product, and then I can run a promotion to those people to maybe upsell them an additional product. I can actually even set up Infusionsoft to identify those people automatically and automatically run that kind of promotion. So let me show you kind of the guts of how this whole thing works. It happens through what Infusionsoft has developed, and it's called their Campaign Builder. And I just realized that I didn't share the screen again as I flipped over there. So sorry about that. Thanks for mentioning that in the comments. So here, I'll back up real quick and just show you that quick search. So in the contacts area, it's just like I said, it's just a database of all your contacts. But you can come in here and add criteria to a search of contacts. And here's all your tags. And so you can select, I want anybody with that tag and with that tag. And if you have tagged people appropriately along the way, then you've got great data here. So in this particular situation, I can say I want to find people who purchased the club and who have clicked on video one, something like that, and then I hit OK, and it'll find those people. I'm not sure why it shows that error, but either way, it will pull up a list of people there, and then you can take these people and put them into a campaign, or just send them a broadcast email, or tag them to do something with them later. There's all kinds of fun stuff you can do when you're able to segment a list like that. But like I said, you can do that automatically, and that's all done through the Campaign Builder. So let me hop in here to a test campaign and just kind of show you how this works. This is really the technology that's kind of revolutionized this whole world. And this is what they call the Campaign Builder. Allows you to just in drag and drop fashion create your campaigns. So I can put a goal out here. These are called goals, and then we have sequences. So I can put a goal out here that's a web form, and say I'm going to offer a free report. I noticed that my friend Ken McAllister's on here, so I will use his business as an example. So a free report, how to modify your gun. That's what Ken does. Is he modifies automatic weapons and stuff. So anyways, you can have this free report. When you double click on this goal, it actually allows you to configure the form itself. And so again, this is all drag and drop. By default, it has first name and email. I could collect additional information if I want. So if I want to get their phone number, so I can call them and follow up, I can do that. I can get addresses. I can create all kinds of additional things. I can put check boxes in here and say, what kinds of guns do you have? And oh, actually, that would have to be the question. Then here I would say, rifle. So that's a checkbox there. And I can add another checkbox. Say shotgun. And I'm showing my gun ignorance here by just knowing like 3 types of guns: rifle, shotgun, and handgun. Something like that, right? And then of course you'd pull down just a little, where is it? Here we go, paragraph snippet. And put that above here to put the question: what kinds of guns do you have? Okay, so we talked about tagging. Now on each of these checkboxes, when I configure them, I can tag someone for having that particular attribute. So I can say has a shotgun. That's a new tag that I just create on the fly. And so if someone fills out this form and selects that checkbox, they're going to get that tag, and I can tag them for rifles and handguns and whatever. So once you're done building out your form and designing it and everything, it'll spit out code for you. So you can get your HTML code and stick that on your website, or you can just use a hosted version and send people directly to a link. So if I click that link, you'll see the form. It hasn't been published yet, so it only has first name and email. And you can design stuff around these. You can put your logo and make it more like a page than just a form. But that's the basic idea. You've got this form now. And the form, when someone fills it out, we want that to trigger further action. So we're going to pull out a sequence. And we'll say, we'll just call this gun follow-up. Okay, so in this sequence, we're going to automate our follow-up. We don't have the time to stay on top of these people and make sure we email them every few days and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to let Infusionsoft do that for us. So in this tray over here under communications, I can put out emails. So the first email might be, thanks for requesting our free report. I'll have a link to let them download the free report, etc. And then we can do timers. I'll put a delay timer in here. And we can configure this really however I want. I'm just going to wait a day, run it any day, the next day at 8 a.m. Eastern, and then I put in another communication. So this could be then our follow-up. How'd you like, did you like the free report? So you get the idea. We can basically build out a full-on communication sequence here, and then I might go into, let's send something every 3 days. So I'll leave that timer at 3 days. Now we're going to send additional follow-ups, and I can send them tips. Tip number 1 on modifying your gun, and put them into a whole series of tips. And so let's put one more on here. And that can just be built out as far as you want. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but you get the idea. And you can put in automated voice recordings, faxes, which nobody uses anymore, even letters, and things like that. So that communication sequence can happen there automatically. What we can do as well is maybe after some time, if they haven't done anything yet, we can create a task here for someone in your office to call them and follow up. So we can say, call this person, and you can create a little note there, here's the title, call them and follow up. Put it in the body as well. You can assign it to a specific person, so I'll assign this to me, and a priority, all those typical task types of things. Mark that as ready, go back to sequence. Now as someone comes through this, at that point in time, it's going to create a task for me in this case, and that'll pop up on my dashboard. It can send me an email notification as well, and that reminds me I should just give this person a call, see how they're doing, see if they're interested in buying anything. Okay, so that's kind of general follow-up to plug black hole number 1. What we have now is a process to follow up with people, but the next step is for them to buy. And so we can set up the next goal, which is for them to make a purchase. Now the way this whole thing works is when a goal is achieved, it starts the sequence to the right. When the next goal is achieved, it stops that sequence to the left. So let's say this is a promotional sequence, and each of these emails say something to the effect of, hey, here's your tip about modifying guns. By the way, we're running this offer. Here's a link. Go purchase. Click here. Well, we don't want them to continue getting emails saying, go purchase, click here, the promotion's still running, all those types of things, if they actually did make the purchase. That would be kind of silly, because they'd be like, why are you still sending me this stuff I already bought? And so that's what this does. The goal here stops the previous sequence, and then, of course, it starts the next sequence. So now here you've got your happy customer follow-up sequence. And so in here, again, we'll build out a whole sequence of communications to make sure that our customer is happy and that we're doing all the right things. So again, I'm not going to build out all of the possibilities here, but that would be your typical thank you email, thanks for purchasing, blah blah blah. And then let's just assume that we've got a handful of communications to continue staying in touch with these people and making sure that they're happy. But now here we can say, we can give them an upsell offer. So now we're gonna try and get them to buy something else. Again, we set another goal for them to purchase. That can stop the next one, and now we've got starting a repeat customer sequence. So now we can get really specific with them, based on the fact that they've bought more than once, and start to treat them differently, maybe give them special offers and discounts, maybe tell them they're now part of the club, and here's your club promo code that you can use on any purchase and get discounts. You want to encourage further purchasing, things like that. Now if they make another purchase, we know they're really starting to become fans here, and this is all happening automatically, no human intervention here. But these emails can all be written very personally so that they feel like it's actually happening from a person. And so the email that happens right after this purchase, I'd write it up in a way that it looks like I wrote it right out of Outlook or right out of Gmail, and I'd say, hi John, you have your automated email that's, hey, thanks, here's your receipt, and all that kind of stuff. Everyone knows that's automated. So maybe 8 hours later, I'd trigger an automated email here that looks very personal. It says, hi John, I noticed that you made a second purchase with us. Just want to reach out to you personally and say thanks. We really appreciate your business. Let me know if I can do anything for you. Feel free to reply to this email, etc. And so that comes off very personal. That's exactly what you would write, or something like that is what you would write if you sat down in Outlook and wrote it. And so you write those same types of emails that can be sent automatically, and it allows you to really free up your time. And now I can go work on other things while all of my customers and my leads are being taken care of. So anyways, now we've got a third purchase. I know this person is now a fan. They wouldn't have purchased 3 times. And so what I'm going to do now when they purchase the third time is I'm going to start the referral sequence. And here, again, very personalized emails. Hey, John, it's me again. Just wanted to reach out, say thanks again. We really appreciate you being a customer and all the business that you've sent us. Want to give you an opportunity to send some friends our way as well, and then you can give them an incentive and however you want to approach that, but you can automate that entire process there. So this campaign, this sequence of events that I'm mapping out here is extremely simple. Just for the sake of example, these things can get very, very exciting and complex. So I'll just give you one little glimpse of this. Let's just say in that form here, we are asking people, if they have a rifle, a shotgun, or a handgun. Right? So we'll have our rifle, follow up, and our handgun follow up, and our shotgun follow-up. So like I said earlier, you can segment people based on tags and behaviors and things like that. And so the sequence that we send these people can be very, very specific to who they are and what they're all about. So in this case, I don't want to try and sell people rifle modifications if all they have is a shotgun. And I don't want to sell them handgun modifications if they have a rifle. And so and then of course you could have another one that's for like more than one. You can build out all the combinations, right, if you wanted to. And so now we can talk very, very specifically with these people. This ensures that the communications don't feel automated, that they actually think that they're getting real live communications from you. And not that we're trying to trick anybody, but they need to feel like you care. And of course, you want them to feel like you care. And so by doing this, you can create very personalized, segmented emails. You can do this kind of thing every step along the way. And this little, what we call decision diamond that popped up here is where you set the rules for how they end up in each of these segments. And so those rules are easily configurable based on the form that they just filled out and which checkboxes they checked, or based on any tags that they have that they either just got from the form or that they've had before, and things like that. So this is just a real quick glimpse of what Infusionsoft can do. There's really a whole lot more to it, and the purpose of this webinar wasn't necessarily to go into all the details, but I just wanted to give a quick overview there and kind of share the things that we've been doing. What happens when you actually put this stuff in place is that you actually start to increase the revenue of the company without too much more effort. There's a fair amount of effort that goes into building out these sequences and setting up your Infusionsoft. Definitely don't want to steer you astray when if you looked into Infusionsoft and you realize, no doubt there's a lot of work to setting it up, but once it's all set up, it really can help you leverage your time in much better ways. So yeah, we're seeing great success. So my role now, as I left Infusionsoft, is for the last couple of years, I was just basically doing private consulting with Infusionsoft customers, helping them get the most out of Infusionsoft, helping them strategize and build out those fancy campaigns and all those types of things. And then in the last 6 to 8 months or so, I've started to really build a team of people that are all together. We're helping small businesses get the most out of Infusionsoft, and we have a membership site where we're teaching a lot of this stuff, and then we actually do one-on-one private services with our customers as well. So got a couple of comments here. Carson mentioned that he's still using fax. Unfortunately, he says ... But you know what? Carson just helped me sell our home in Arizona, and I don't think we used fax at all. And I don't live in Arizona now, so you can imagine what that's like. Selling homes, doing any of that kind of paperwork in the past, it's all been fax back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's a pain in the neck. But I think we did it all online, and then at the final moment, they sent a notary to our house and got that done. So anyways, if you still use fax, then yeah, there's a feature inside of Infusionsoft where you can send automated faxes. What we found, actually, it's very interesting. Companies that still have fax machines actually get really good response when you send automated faxes. It used to be that fax was like a spam box, right? Like you get in your inbox right now. People were sending all kinds of stuff by fax, but so many people have moved away from fax in favor of email and other online mechanisms that people just aren't sending much in the way of faxes anymore. And so being able to follow up with your customers with really, again, very personalized faxes you can send. You can merge in people's names and information about them and things like that into the faxes that you send from Infusionsoft. And so you basically send a very personalized letter by fax. It shows up on the fax machine, which is another way of getting someone's attention. So it's kind of interesting. Another question here is, is the software all web-based? It is. It's all web-based, and so that of course has its pros and cons. I'd say in this day and age, it's more of a pro than a con. Most people are pretty much connected to the internet at all times, and so that's actually very, very beneficial. Your computer crashes, you don't lose the software, you don't lose the data. If you're traveling, you can hop onto any computer all over the world and hop on and manage your business. There's some other questions here about how the automation is triggered here. Let me see if I can get back in here. Okay, we'll jump back in the campaign builder here. Go to this campaign we start playing with. And so there's a question about triggering different actions based on different behaviors. So let's do this here. Let's just say in this rifle follow-up here, if someone actually starts clicking on my emails, I want to treat them differently. They're starting to respond, and so I want to change up the message and maybe get a little more aggressive with them or something like that. So I'll use this goal here. So any action that the customer takes or the lead takes is basically tracked or triggered by a goal. And so I'll move this over a little bit like this. So this, we'll call it, clicked link. And I'll need to go in and actually create an email with a link real quick to show how this works. I'll hop in here really quickly. And I need to get rid of some of the default content or else it won't let me save. Okay. So let's say we have a link there that says click here. And that's going to go to our website, wherever we want to send them. Let's see, how come that didn't take? Well, that's weird. Let's see here. Can't even spell my name right. I'm actually in Utah right now. I just got off a plane a few minutes ago, right before the webinar, and realized that I left my power cord to my laptop at home. And there we go. So I'm on a PC, which I'm very uncomfortable with since I work on a Mac. So anyways, there's our link. Let's go back here, and we'll go back into here. So now we have that that goal connected, and I can create a different sequence there. So then I double click on this link here, and I can go and select any link in the previous emails that I want to use as the trigger, or as one of the triggers. I can select a bunch of them, right, if I want, but I'll just use that one. So if they click on that link, then I'm going to stop that sequence that's all about the rifle follow-up, and I'm going to start another sequence that might be more of a kind of direct sales push, promotion, or something like that. And then, of course, that still is going to be stopped by the purchase. So, like I said, the example I showed here is a very, very simple example, but you can imagine how complex it might get if you start, triggering things on all of their different behaviors, which you definitely do. Let's see if I have an example here of a little bit more of a complex campaign. That one's more simple. This was an example of long-term nurture, some different promotions. Here's kind of a more advanced example. So in this case, we've got a long-term nurture sequence, and the thinking is that sometimes if someone is interested in your product or service, and you have an automated sequence that sends them an email, say once a week, well, once a week may not be enough for them. Maybe they're interested in more information now. And so this whole thing here is set up basically to send them an email every so often if they don't take any action. But if they do take action, so if you see the click goals here like we just showed you, if they do take action, then it basically skips the timers and goes right to the next email. And so they can continue getting information as they take more action. But you see this decelerator process down here. I'm not going to go into all the details of how this works, but the decelerator process works in a way that if they don't click and they go into the next sequence, it knows, hey, this person didn't take action on the last opportunity, so we're going to decelerate the process. We're going to slow it down. And you never know, they might be on vacation, they might be busy right now or whatever. You don't want to flood their inbox when they're not taking action. So slow down the process and delay the timers even more when they're not taking action. And then when they are taking action, you speed it up. And so that's what's all set up here. Like I said, I won't go through the logic of how this whole thing works, but you can see how it can get very, very complex. I'm worried now again. Yep, sure enough, I did not show the screen through all of that. Someone needs to teach me how to do this stuff. All right, so here's the sequence I was just showing you, the click goal that I was talking about in the first example looks like this. So you insert a click goal, and when you double click it, it will show all of the emails in the previous sequence, and then you can select which emails are going to trigger the goal. And so once you select those, that goal is then configured. So if they're in this sequence, they click the link that I just selected, then they'll be pulled out of that sequence and they'll go into this sequence and they'll continue on. So like I said, this one is all set up to automatically kind of accelerate and decelerate the communication based on their behavior. But the way we got going down this road was, just to show you how you set up all of these different triggers, when they click and when they do different things. Infusionsoft doesn't have the ability right now to trigger actions based on when someone opens the email, but there are reports that show you that stuff, and then you can find those people who are opening and clicking and things like that. I'll just show you. Yeah, this account that we're in is actually a test account, so I'm not sure there's much data in here, but let's see if we can find at least one broadcast. You'll see what the report looks like. Here's one here. So the report shows, total number sent, total number opened, unopened, clicks, opt-ins, opt-outs, complaints, etc. And then you can click on each one of those numbers and see those people. So if I want to click on the people who actually opened, and I might want to follow up with them differently or something like that, I can click on that people and on that link there and see the list of people. There's no one there, so I won't click on that one. I'll click on this one, and you'll see that from here I can take people then and put them into a new campaign or whatever. And this is more manual work that you might do to kind of drill in and find different segments. So that was just in response to one of the questions about triggering things based on opens and clicks and things like that. So. Alrighty, so sorry again for not switching over the screen each time. The reason I tend to switch it back is because you get this little vortex thing going on when I come back to the screen to see the questions. But I want to thank you all for coming on. Really appreciate it. And if you have any questions about how our company, Box Out Marketing, may be able to help you grow your business, feel free to give me a call. I'm going to dump into the chat here my email address. So you can email me at tyler@boxoutmarketing.com, or you can call me at 480-442. And so there's my contact information there. Feel free to reach out to me. We really enjoy working with small businesses and helping them grow. And if you wanted some more info about how we can help you do that, I would love to send you some case studies and things like that, show you some examples of how we've helped people implement these types of things from scratch and the impact that it has on their business. So anyways, I'm sure you're all busy. You got your businesses to run, so we'll let you go. Thanks again for hopping on with me, and we'll talk to you soon.